I feel like with Thea specifically, they say that you feel like she can do no wrong. That's like the narrative.
Even though I point out all that you do wrong, and then I say why I think you did it.
I don't know.
Come on.
But so with that said, Melissa, you here, or did you go run and get something?
I'm listening.
Okay. So with that said, we could go ahead and get started and deep dive into this conversation around Dhea. Melissa actually brought this back to my mind a couple weeks ago now. We were saying that you rewatched the conversation that we initially had about them when they first got started. And I was like, oh yeah. And now we have even more material. You don't remember it for real, Antonio?
No, I do not.
I can't. I didn't know specifically what she's talking about because I feel like we'd be having a lot of conversations. But then when she said it, I was like, oh yeah. But now we have more material. So we are back to do a part 2 because what? Most of y'all are set tripping and sleeping on them. So let's go around and just say where we're at with Dhea as of episode 6 in All American Homecoming, and then we'll deep dive into further reasons, at least for me, why this works, why y'all hate is still hate, and why they might still make it, even though the writers, I see what y'all doing.
Am I going first? I'm sticking beside Dhea as of episode 6. Always have been, and will continue to do so because I feel like the story is immaculate, and how it continues to unfold every single episode. Like, I just love seeing them together on screen, even if it's a little moment. Like, I think the last episode, they just had that one little conversation, but it actually wasn't a little conversation. It was a big conversation because it hinted towards, I guess, like Thea's mindset towards the end of the episode where we see her. I'm here for Thea and Damon, and the haters are just mad. So while everybody want to be acting like they don't have chemistry, whatever. This is to me what chemistry looks like compared to y'all faves. So that's it.
Next.
I'm trying to. Okay. I guess from my perspective, I think that I like how the writers are presenting them as like a real life like couple, like a new couple. They're still trying to figure each other out, even though they kind of know how each other's personality works. They're still trying to figure out the best ways to talk to each other, the best ways to express their feelings. I like how patient Damon is as a man, and how he really takes his time when it comes to how he interacts with her. And I think he really does it because he knows how naive she is and how much attention she needs. So I feel like he's not going out of his way. What's the word? Going the extra mile to provide more grace for her than he probably would in another relationship. So I do like that.
Okay. I got some. I need to. Where's my notebook? Because I need to take notes. I get derailed very easily. And you said something that like resonated with me that I actually might journal on later, but so I can spin a block. Go ahead, Melissa.
Yeah, I mean, building on everything that you guys already said, which I ditto and agree on. I feel like Dhea reminds me of being in college and meeting a guy and figuring out like what we're doing here, like getting to know each other, like the innocence of like just like getting to know people. Like I'm so sick of the whole there's no chemistry conversation, because what is chemistry anyway? Sometimes you can have crazy chemistry with someone and that thing fizzes out like right away. Like it's not sustainable, it's not real. Like, you can't base your life around chemistry. So I wish people would stop saying that. It's really annoying. And yeah, I love Dhea. And I rewatched mostly because I wanted to see other people's, like, what other people are talking about. I'm like, did I just miss all those moments that these people are talking about? And so I like rewatched it, and I'm just like, I'm still a Dhea fan. Like, I see exactly what they're talking about, but I'm still a Dhea fan, and we'll get to those moments. But yeah, that's my thoughts.
Yeah. So unfortunately, if you're tuning in and you want someone to speak up and be like, well, no, Dhea, it's still trash, you ain't getting it. Because this is the insider call with my friends. And y'all are really just getting a little sneak peek into like how we actually discuss the show amongst each other. And you can argue amongst yourselves or with y'all's mamas in the comment section. Because at the end of the day, and I mentioned this on my live, I guess yesterday, day before yesterday, I don't remember, I'm losing days. The facts are the facts, and we don't make the rules. Like, I could buy into the idea of like Damon and Thea don't actually work if there wasn't so much proof that they do. And the only thing is that they are working unconventionally to the rules and to the culture that was created within the All-American universe. That's the only little caveat. But that, again, they're still working. As y'all were saying, like, y'all's initial, or not initial thoughts, but y'all's overall thoughts about Dhea, certain things started to come up for me, like specifically with you, Antonio, you speaking to Damon being patient with Thea and giving her grace and recognizing her naivete. I, like, that just does something to me, period. This isn't about Sisters, but like I really go back to like the Karen character on Sisters a lot because she has a man in her life that's pursuing her that she is going through. She is doing dumb things. She is making mistakes. She is chasing someone who she should not be chasing, and there's still a man there to love her anyway. And I don't feel like we get to see it. So bringing it back to Thea specifically, watching how Damon loves her, it's triggering, but it's triggering in a really good way for me because I feel like that representation needs to happen because I don't know how. I know it happens in real life, but I don't think it happens as much as the reverse. Like, we always see the conversations or we see the narrative of like a woman holding a man down or loving a man through whatever mistake, cheating, no money, crazy family, sisters want to fight, like everything a woman can love a man through. But anytime we get presented with the idea of a man loving a woman who got an attitude in this moment, or who doesn't understand, or who's coming with not enough experience, or maybe don't have enough money, then it's like, oh no, you need to go ahead and move on. And I am enjoying seeing certain storylines play out where a woman is still being loved regardless of what people would deem her less than worthy for. And unfortunately, Thea, in my opinion, is 100% worthy of love and then some, but there's so many people within the All-American Universe audience who is taking off points for her because she got an attitude or because she's giving Mean Girl initially and not actually taking into consideration all of the things that come with or the nuances that have helped that thing arrive for her and how she is actually attacking it as a person, unpacking it, healing, and trying to do better. And I know I just said a lot, but like that really just came up for me. What's your thoughts?
I agree.
Can I just say one thing real quick? Because the same people that are not giving Thea any grace are out here standing for Spencer, giving Olivia all the grace. I'm just going to throw that out there right there.
That's how to my point.
One, it's so different because Thea is not malicious in what she's doing. That's just who she is, and it's things that she's growing in. As opposed to Olivia, just choosing violence every single episode.
And it's intentional. I don't care what y'all talking about. That hoe was doing it intentionally. I don't care. But anyways, that ties into my point.
And also, real quick, I just want to slide this on here. I want to slide this on here, Naya, because you dropped it earlier when because we have been on this call for about an hour and a half now. Thea also can back up every single thing that she has done that was mean. She is that girl. She whips ass on the tennis court. Like, when she comes to you and she says that she's the best, it's because she's the best. It's not because she's just trying to be mean.
Y'all hate her for it, but like the facts are the facts. And I don't know if y'all don't like people talking their ish, like when it's warranted. But I'm sorry, oh well, like if I'm the best and I know I'm the best, then that's just what it is. And why not speak out into the universe? I'm sorry. But
We're not
everything
going to talk
that have
about how
been
the universe wants to humble Black women that know they work, know their talents, can speak to and articulate everything that they bring to the table, and that they are the in fact table. But go off,
exactly.
Naya.
But like both Erica and Melissa, that ties to my point where like I hate when people be like, what is the like the narrative on Twitter? It's like, it's so hard. Basically, it's so hard for Damon to love Thea because she always wants to pick a fight. That's what it is. She always wants to pick a fight. She always wants to catch an attitude. And I feel like when Thea, I don't even want to say lash out, but like when Thea has her moments where it's like pushback towards Damon, like I feel like there's a reason why she does it, and it comes out of a place of her just not knowing any better. Like she has no experience outside of Damon, so everything is a learning curve. So she doesn't know how to communicate initially because she's never had to do it before. She doesn't know how to do it. So when you don't have the tools, yes, it's like immediate, like they'll have a conversation and she shuts down, like, okay, well, whatever. And like people perceive that as her just catching an attitude, or her, it's just like it's so flippant, like the way that people try and villainize Thea, as opposed to your fave who picks fights for all of the wrong reasons. So there's a difference. Like when Thea pushes back, it's because of her lack of experience, because of her naivete. Like she doesn't know any better. So that's why Damon, it has, like he's patient with her. He takes takes his time with her because she needs it. That was my point, as opposed to your fave that people love on this in the Stan universe, where one person picks fights for all of the wrong reasons and it's intentional and it's out of malice, and the other person just has to take it and has to just be like, well, I love you anyways. Two different scenarios.
Damn
And like
time.
Erica said, Thea holds herself accountable. Every single episode, Thea has apologized. Every single episode. And not some like, I'm sorry you felt that way. It's, I'm sorry I reacted that way. Like she uses the I, not the I maybe shouldn't have, like, or maybe, or or after the apology.
Well, if you hadn't told me this, then I wouldn't have actually thought that.
Right, or the apology that she didn't deserve, she got, and then she kind of is like, well, maybe I was wrong too, maybe.
Such a good point. Like she and it's mostly, a lot of the times it's out of fear. Like I think Thea is terrified of Damon and everything that he means to her and this relationship because it is so foreign. She said it. So every time she says, I'm sorry, I was scared. I'm sorry, I was scared. So I reacted that way. Like it's all coming out of fear, and it makes sense because this is her first relationship. I don't know what people expect. And I just feel like they hold it against her every single time and then use that as a way to discount this relationship. And I'm sorry, but the facts do not align. Like, I don't care what y'all talking about.
The episode with her mom explained it all when she was sitting and talking to her, and she was explaining to Thea how she didn't want her to have a one-track mind when it comes to tennis, and she wanted her to be open to forge a relationship and having new experiences. So it's there in the writing, the reason she behaves the way she does.
Unlike your fave. So don't get mad.
Wow.
Y'all, I didn't tell Naya to say that.
So don't get mad. This is all me, baby. So don't get mad when it justifies for Thea in the writing, but your fave is running around here acting the way she's acting, and nothing in the writing backs it up.
Nothing.
Oh, but what about the crisis of conscience when she was talking to Billy?
Now all of a sudden that, oh my God, finally that's her character. That they've been writing her wrong the whole time. That's who she is. Okay.
Just a little too late.
But anyways, We're not talking about
Not the JoJo.
she. Like, I'm sorry, but like,
the room of people who've been asking you to not do this entire time.
All America. I'm sorry.
You finally meet with your editor the moment you're about to press publish.
Yo, I didn't even think about that until you said it. They ain't been keeping tabs the whole time.
On who?
Running amok.
Tabs on her.
Running amok.
She does what she wants, and that is like, that's what blew me. That's how I know.
And
like,
everybody lets her.
It just reconfirmed to me AA is in the gutter.
She's the main
and
character.
will never be free because the way that y'all have
she's the main character?
This storyline become like, this has been the storyline for literally 2.5 seasons. Y'all have let this girl continue on with this raggedy ass article that she should have never been pursuing in the first place, because I don't know what, I don't care what anybody is talking about. She should have never been the one to pursue it. It blossomed out of stupid ass reasons because she was mad because she was not being validated as Spencer's girlfriend in a space where she could not help
football was
Spencer
taking
when it
his
comes
space.
to the sport aspect of it. She was mad because she could not be that one for him. So she decided she was going to pursue NIL. That's how it started. And then when she couldn't get through with that, then she decided she was going to go after this raggedy ass coach, and she just had to be the one to release it. I always said she should have never been the one to release this story or be the sole person. Like, yes, that coach needed to go, but she did not need to be the one. So then now that we get here, you are basically reaping the fruits of all of the havoc that you have caused with this goddamn article. It's finally happening for you, baby. This is what you wanted. You done lost a relationship because of it. Like, you know, like, I don't know. And now
it's sounding like we need another conversation to discuss all the real villains of All American Universe.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm only here for Dhea.
I'm only here for Dhea. I don't know how we got here, but I'm just like, I can't. Like, just like the momentary.
The math is math, and Naya, you're given all types of calculus right now. And unfortunately, there's way too many people in this universe who barely made it past 2 + 2. But, you know, it's all good.
And I just think it's funny, like, the way that people like to villainize Thea is actually your fave. Wake up and really recognize what's in front of you, because it's not Thea. It's not the mean girl y'all want her to be. It's really old girl who is really the real life mean girl in every single way.
The real life mean girls that is just too distraught to see that her ex-man might be moving on social media. So I'm going to tag along with my best friend, and this was her man first, but it's okay because I still. And once I get there, she's having a business meeting, I'm going to go ahead and be nasty to her potential PR person, because why in the hell not? And I don't like this hoe anyway, even though I don't know her. Like, if y'all want to talk about mean girls, let's really go through the universe. And let's call a thing a thing.
That's all I'm saying. Everyone likes to make comparisons where it doesn't correlate, because there's a lot of, like you said, Erica, false narratives. And y'all like to compare. Then yeah, I'm gonna make the comparison to Dhea and your fave couple, because that's like a lot of the things that y'all put on Dhea is actually your fave couple and your fave girly in the fucking universe. Sorry, I cursed. But that's how I feel about it at this point. Like, stop putting things on people that it's not warranted. So.
And if we're only going off of electric-ass chemistry and problematic-ass feelings that it, produces, you can keep it. Because I'll be damned if I'll be dragged to hell and back in Vegas again.
Because I have
give me non-problematic and no chemistry any day. Mm-hmm.
And I'm just so tired.
Healthy relationships any day.
Any day. Mm-hmm. And that's like I'm like, to Melissa's point, I'm so tired of it. Like, that is like the main driving point too, about the Dhea hate is
what y'all think chemistry is, because that's a very great question.
I'll start. I mean, I feel like chemistry is like this like physical, like visceral attraction that you might feel towards somebody that like is reciprocated. That's how I have always interpreted chemistry. But that's like, it doesn't, like, it's physical. That's all it is. It's not like sometimes when you get beneath that, there's nothing else there. It's just like you're attracted to someone like on a physical, visceral level.
For me, I think that there are varying degrees of chemistry, and I have experienced it both like electric physically and like finish each other's sentence equally yoked, very awkward as well. Like, so I don't think that there's any one way to have chemistry. And if I was to compare the like, oh, our kisses just look so cinematic, to like, this person will never mess up my food order and will like always ask me some, I can't think of anything right now, but like, how was my heart posture today? I'm gonna pick that person. That's chemistry for y'all.
You want to go the side of it, because I don't know. Pheromones and brain chemistry and all that scientific stuff, all that biological stuff. But I think the one that's more important is how compatible you are with a person. Because it doesn't even have to be romantic. It can be platonic between two friends, people that share the same values and that understand each other on a level where there can be an unspoken sense of kinship or understanding that people have of each other that you don't necessarily have to be able to explain. Like, there's people that I've met, like random strangers that I've met, that have become good friends where we just get each other, even though we didn't really know each other, but there's a I don't know what's the word I'm looking for, a simpatico vibe about our interactions that just flow effortlessly. You don't have to force it.
I don't know.
Oh, that was it. Yeah.
I don't know. I just feel like I agree that I feel like chemistry has many layers, so it really is just what it is. I think it's person by person basis, but honestly, to me, chemistry is just like what feels natural. But yes, it can also be awkward. It can also be messy. It can also just be, it's not a linear thing where it's like, this is how it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be this epic love story where we kiss in the rain all the time and I'm outside your door. That's not it. Like, I think people just have like a built up perception in their head about chemistry based on get down to it. I feel like chemistry to me is really what feels natural. Like Antonia said, you don't have to force it, but that also doesn't mean that it's not like awkward, especially if it's your first time. So like seeing Thea in Dangerverse, I really have to like dissect what has actually been real and what has actually just been built up. And I feel like a lot of them have just been built up. And so that's what people feel like that's epic, as opposed to, I'm sorry, like to me, the best comparison for Dhea,
Spencer and Layla.
And that was chemistry. So I don't know if I answered the question, but really the most simple terms is like chemistry to me is just what is natural and what two people feel is natural, like amongst each other. And that connection most of the time can't be explained.
Yeah.
Antonio, I'm not like mad at the comparison. It just annoys me because people pick and choose with the parts of the comparison that they actually want to apply it to. So like, I feel like people equate Dhea to Spela because they feel like they're going to end that way. But like when you really sit down and think about it, they didn't even start that way. Like Damon and Thea weren't like, oh my God, I fell in love the first moment I saw you.
But they understood each other.
They understood each other, just like
no, I understand that. I understand that 100%. You were right the first time, and you kind of messed up the second time. Now that we didn't arrive at season 5, but I digress. If we're going to talk about comparison around ships, I would love to enter into the chat or into the ether the comparison that they have been trying to put on Olivia that actually does not fit. The shoe don't fit, so that's why they can't wear it. But like, let's go to Hillman, and they would actually be, in my opinion, the closest thing that we would get to Whitney and Dwayne.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yes, that is. Oh my god, I'm not even close.
That is true.
Yeah, no, at all.
Damon and Thea would be the closest thing to it. Olivia is the farthest thing from it. So
yes.
They cut it out.
For
their actual personalities and lacks.
Exactly. Like, yeah, it was not some epic, we gotta have each other, we love each other from like, oh, I don't know.
It was not set, like, it wasn't set up to be that way at all. Even in the beginning of A Different World, like, that was not even on the board. No one was even thinking at the end of A Different World that these two people would end, like, they were endgame. Like, that's the real.
They weren't writing it like that.
Were endgame at the end of it. So no.
Yeah, but it didn't start out that way.
No.
No, not at all.
Going back really quick, because I want to get Antonio's opinion about this. Like, you brought up how patient and graceful Damon is with Thea, and I spoke about how it's very refreshing and low-key triggering in a good way to see it, because I don't feel like women get the same reciprocity, but like ride or die shit as men get. How do you feel about that idea? And I have a follow-up question, so once you say that, I have another question.
Which idea?
Of me saying that women don't get the same reciprocity in ride or die ship as men.
I agree. I was thinking that before you even said it, because especially in media, I was just going back in my head thinking of like all the like epic love stories or whatever you want to call them. First one that popped into my head was like Pride and Prejudice. That was like the first one that popped into my head, and I was, because he was terrible.
It's a good one. It's a good one.
He was terrible, but by the end of it, she really did. I mean, yeah, he changed, but still, he had to put in a lot of work to get there. So, yeah, I would agree with your statement.
And what are your thoughts for like people who are like voicing what I'm going to go ahead and call fake concern for Damon, and like how many?
I was about to say, if I had seen Damon moping around, crying, turning over in his bed, reaching over there, not seeing Thea there, then yeah, I might feel some type of way. But nah, he going to class. No, because to me, she hasn't done anything horrible to him. Like, I don't understand where, like, what did she do? Say mean? She really do?
I mean, that's a question. That's a very real question.
I'm thinking about, even if I keep it to like just this season, I'm going back in my head, and I'm like, I mean, she didn't really do nothing to this man.
Well, we also know that you are a very special breed, and we appreciate you for it.
Me too.
But we agree.
I mean, because like, if I put
having
myself,
an attitude is a federal offense around here these days. Even though
I'm like,
nobody can run amok with an attitude because people don't agree with everything.
Don't take offense to this, but it's gonna be offensive. Like, black women be having attitudes, fam. Like,
you said what?
Black women be having attitudes. I said black women be having attitudes. Like,
I don't take offense to that. You know why? Because what's the rest of the sentence or the rest of the paragraph? Because what I feel like gets left out is like, oh, black women be having attitudes. Can you also say for no reason at all?
No.
Because if you can't say that, then it's giving warranted response to whatever action.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I was just saying, like, that stuff, it seemed like he could handle. Like, it didn't seem like he had even and she wasn't really giving attitude. She wasn't like. I mean, it might have been a little rude the way she said stuff. Her delivery might have been like weird, but the stuff that she was saying itself wasn't necessarily like anything crazy. I don't think it warranted a reaction that he needed protection from.
Like, Damon is a
Well,
fully, like you said, a fully functioning young man around campus,
Like he
still
just went to
thriving,
class the
still
next
doing his
day.
stuff. Like, as opposed to Spencer, who looks like I can't. I can't
That
see it
Somebody
anymore.
shot his
I
dog.
really can't see it.
beaten and dragged every single time we see his ass.
Somebody
He
shot
don't
his
even
dog.
talk the same anymore. Like, he's always soft spoken and like where's his attitude? Where's his base? Like, where is it? Where I don't understand.
And so I just feel like I have 2 points. Well, one is I think it's funny, like, people still want, Damon with Simone, and I feel like, well, technically, like, if he was with Simone, he at this version of Simone, he would still be with Thea, because Simone's trying to be in her Thea bag and trying to pretend that she's Thea, this Thea version of herself. So he would technically still be with Thea, right? So 2 plus 2 does equal 4. Okay, so that's that. And then second, what was my second point? Like, even like when Thea does like the pushback, an example, when her mom came into town, and they basically, like, it was revealed that they had this conversation, the mom and Damon, and so of course Thea's obviously, this is not someone who's a like functioning communicative person, like, where she can say, okay, this pisses me off that you're having a side conversation with my mother. Me?
it was breaking up.
Can you hear me?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Breaking up for them.
No.
No.
Oh,
Okay,
because you were loading for me just now. But obviously Thea didn't have the words to be like, in that moment, okay, I'm very annoyed that you're having a side conversation with my mother about me and I'm not in the room, right? So she says, okay, well, I'm gonna go change, since you didn't leave you two to talk, since you love doing it so much. Well, that she's upset, so there's no having to read through her words, and she walks away, but there's a reason for that, and there's background of why. So when Thea, like, in that instance, and it's usually like that, like, she can't communicate in those specific moments, like, fully why she's upset, but you understand that she is upset, and there's a reason why she's not communicating. It's because she doesn't know how to. So I think those are the moments that really feel like that level of exaggeration is really what we see. So
when did you guys know that Damon and Thea were gonna be a thing, should be a thing, and yeah, they're it? Like, can you remember the moment that did it for you?
I remember.
I don't know. I didn't know they were going to be one. I mean, I didn't see. Oh, sorry. I didn't see it until, like, you started pointing out how similar they were, and I was like, oh, yeah, this might could work.
For me, it was the video. I think when he pointed out all her stress, I was like, "Ooh, somebody's paying attention."
Yeah.
I was like, "Okay."
It was that, but really when it was like, oh, this is...
Hold on, y'all. It's like some weird, like, staticky feedback.
It is. I hear it too.
Yeah. Yeah, it was that, Antonio. Whatever you just did.
What did you do? Oh, because I think is it something with his headphones, maybe? Oh.
Wait, it's back. Now it's not. It's back.
That?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, sorry, that's my hair.
The way Antonio has been putting us inside of chip bags all night and, like, okay.
I'm getting used to it. I usually have my fro. So
You usually have what?
my fro.
Oh. Okay, I think we're good. As long as you don't touch it, I think.
No,
Yes.
it's good.
And talk
It's
so
back.
no, it's back.
Is that?
When you touch it, it stops.
Okay, how about now?
I still hear it.
I don't know what it is. Hold on.
Where's your phone? Like, set your phone on your shoulder. Too far. Oh, I guess you're
How about now?
That's better. But now you're loading.
Oh, yeah. He's loading. Okay, so he should be back soon. But, oh, wait, I do want to.
I don't think Naya gave hers when she thought that the...
Oh, yeah, okay. I think you're still muted, Naya.
Mm.
Oh, because I don't know why I thought that was gonna help the sound. But I think it was because I'm trying to remember the sequence of events. Like, I think when he was doing the video, interviewing everyone, I think that was before the stuff with Kevin. But
Yes,
I feel
it
like
was.
when he defended Thea from Kevin, I was like, oh. Mm-hmm. And then like after that, when they watched like A Different World together, I was like, So everything else before that just kind of justified that fact of like, oh, this needs to be a thing. So like when he obviously was checking for her, like, knew her as an athlete and all that. And then even like when it was like the power outage or whatever, and she was, I think, starting to date like her online profile, like going back to those moments before, I think that was like probably, I think Dea's first big moment was obviously when he defended her from Kevin. But like going back before, from like the little crumbs you could see, I think just kind of solidified for me.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of what was the moment for me, because I really called it very, very, very early on. And then
You did.
Once we got to her trying to date, and then like listening to little things of like him like reaffirming and like had watched all of her stuff, I was like, I knew it. But I think for me, I really was looking at the archetypes and like who they were as people, and
I think you would answer
feeling like it makes sense. And it makes sense not because they're basically the female and male version of each other in sports, but like there's something to be said about being with the person who has strength in all the areas that you have weakness. And like what that looks like if you actually have an attraction to them. And that's what I felt like I picked up on very like early on from a writer's point of view. Like, to me, it was very clear when they presented who Damon is and who Thea was. I was like, oh, if I was writing this would be a no-brainer. Coming soon. Y'all just wait.
Yeah, you were very early with it, because I just, sorry to cut you off. I just remember I'm healed now.
No, you're fine.
I had a temporary state of insanity because I don't know why I wanted to put Thea with this boy, but I was trying to say Thea and JR for some wayward ass reason, and Erica was always like, girl, no. And then I think that's when I remember that was like early conversations of like, I really think Damon and Thea would be great together because of this reason. And thank God they didn't put Thea with JR, and I hope they never.
He got a lot of work to do.
A lot.
And the girls that are in his little Brinkston family, his intro to
be with, as she does, like, gather him. So maybe that's what he needs. He needs
But
something.
even that, like, I don't even know. Like, I'm saying that because she clearly seems interested in him, but I don't even know if he's ready to handle her. Like, he is too, like, I don't want to call him a coward because that's a big thing to say about a black man. But
Well,
He just
his
moves with
daddy
very
is.
little, you know what, energy. And I can't.
His daddy is a big one, so he
Antonio is saying you can't join. Come back out and go back in again. So we can get you up here. Oh wait, okay, here he is. Can we hear him?
We can hear him. Yeah.
Good.
Your camera's off, you know that?
Oh yeah, because it was when he left out, it just threw off the layout, and I was like, I don't feel like trying to fix it. So I thought I was gonna do that until he came back. All right, what were you saying? You say you?
What were we talking about?
I think you and Erica
When
were
you
saying,
knew that Damon and Thea
we're saying
should be a thing.
Okay, not to speak for you, but I feel like you and Erica like looked at the archetypes. So I think y'all saw sort of like them as like
how they were similar. When I saw how similar they were, that's when I was like, okay, yeah, this probably will work.
Do y'all feel like similarities work best or opposites attract best?
I think similarities, because I tried the opposite thing, and that was a hot mess.
I don't know. I think it's a case-by-case basis. I don't know.
I was gonna say that. Yeah.
But then also, if you think of opposites attract, like, well, sometimes it does actually like make sense. Like, two people can be complete opposites and it works. Or sometimes it's not even as extreme as opposites. It could like just be some differences and then some similarities. So I don't know. I think it's a case-by-case basis, but I just wanted to make a quick point that I think how you and Antonio saw Damon and Thea, I think that's probably the best way. If you're going to ship two characters together, you should be looking at how their characters can connect, how they're similar, and how that would even make sense in the story. That's how you really should. That's how I think watching certain television shows back in the day, like that was, I think, the most innocent way of like wanting two people together because it made sense. Nowadays,
I mean, I feel like we're losing the art of like you getting with someone who actually makes your life better. Because we're in the digital age where everything is about aesthetic. There are people that get together that look great together but don't like each other, don't make each other's lives better, don't make themselves each other better people, don't learn anything about each other in this relationship. So why in the hell are we doing it? For an Instagram picture? For some TikToks? Like, that's a very real question. And I pose it to the entire fandom because, like, let's really call a thing. Are you really grounding all of your hopes, dreams, and beliefs around love into what is visually appealing when you are only going to be your optimum visual
permanently?
You're going to align yourself and stay in a relationship making everybody miserable covered. We're getting taxed to live, breathe, and walk around on this space rock. I don't need somebody to sleep with me and also cause hell.
No, thank you. And if we're talking about aesthetics, I want my aesthetic to feel good as well. So why can't we have both? Like, I don't know. Like, if you really care about aesthetic that much, then it should also like actually serve you well and actually be a reflection of a healthy lifestyle.
And if we're going even deeper into the conversation around aesthetic, healthy looks the best. I don't know about y'all, but every time I see Dhea on screen, I get butterflies. And I'm like, I'm not even in this with them.
And it's such a breath of fresh air. Like, every time I'm on the screen, I'm like, oh, yes, substance. Something I can hold on to and be fully engaged and be like...
Yes. But before we do that, I want to go around real quick because I wrote this down too while one of y'all was talking. I think it was Antonio. For me, a big thing, and Antonio, you kind of touched on it, in reference to like the treatment of Damon by Thea, and like you're not pressed because he ain't mad about it. Do we think that Damon knows that Thea loves him at this point in time?
I mean, yeah, she got up on that stage, and not the way Asher did, but she got up on the stage. Like, what?
We never letting that go. I just want to say
Never.
real quick. We are never letting it go.
Never. Oh, that was great. Sorry.
So we're all in agreement that Damon knows this.
And sung her heart out in front of everybody.
I think he was unsure until that moment.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I think that maybe that was the validation that he needed, but I also felt like what kept him in it is that he really knew up until he said it, and then she started to pull away, and then he's like, well, I don't know. I feel like that's another thing he always knew. The craziest thing, Antonio, with your chip bag.
Sorry.
The craziest thing about this is like, if we were to go through the universe, can you say that every male knows that the person that they are attracted to and or in a relationship with right now knows that that person actually loves them?
Spencer and
Jordan, no.
Jordan knew with Simone. I said Spencer and Layla knew. Jordan knew when he was with Simone.
Jordan know now.
Jordan know now who?
What?
Who loves him?
Rhoyle.
Because you said Jordan knows now. I'm like, what do you mean?
We don't know her.
I mean, I guess if we wasted hundreds of $1,000s just so we can go bump uglies with him, I guess we can assume.
Wait, you're saying that Jordan knows that Layla loves him?
I was making a
I'm
joke.
not saying that, but if I'm going to give out any passes, that's going to be the only pass.
I was being facetious.
Okay. Sorry. I was just wanted to make sure.
Because this your very first major music video production. You went from having a little DSLR and getting a community of kid dancers and on the bleachers with Coop to now putting on a full-on production, and you running late and wasting all your money while little Miss PR girl runs them up.
I wonder why
just
you
because
didn't know what she was doing.
And
you wonder why you didn't know what she was doing.
So unserious. She walks in. What's going on? I didn't sign off on any of this. Well, you weren't even there to sign the pen. You weren't even there to do anything. You were in the bed with Jordan. So how would you have known anything?
But the point is,
our
point is Spencer don't know a tank today.
He did with Layla.
He did with Layla now, child. Cam know.
Yeah, Cam does know.
Cam stand
Amara,
up.
even Amara knows.
Oh, gee.
Her, damn it.
Amara knows from two men.
Player from the Himalayas.
So,
but let's go ahead into the segue that Melissa brought up. Let's go ahead and break it down. Let's talk about Simone versus Dhea. My God, the comment section in this video. Melissa, would you like to start?
I mean, I've been racking my brain around it, but like,
I can't see comments.
I think there's no comments.
After once they this video done.
Oh, that's what I'm saying. Oh, okay.
I think
I am live right now. There are a few people that are watching it live, but like.
Okay. Shout out to y'all.
I think
they said that Antonio was playing Call of Duty and Melissa is continuing to do the Lord.
It's continuing to what?
Do the Lord's work.
Amen.
I'm not playing Call of Duty. I am on my PlayStation though.
I'm calling you out.
Like he is not fully paying attention.
I
am. I honestly, their friendship is like the only thing that I can see that can be confused for being like a healthy relationship, because like healthy relationships starting from friendship, I do support that 100%. But if you like, when I think about it, I'm like, the only other thing that people might see as being why they should be together is because Damon liked her first. like that's like the biggest premise I feel like that people are standing on, is that he liked her first, and so naturally like that should be who he's with now that she's not with Jordan. But like there, like you said, like I don't want to say too much more though, because then that'll go into like Dhea and why I think Dhea works. So I don't know if we want to start with Simone and why people think Simone would work. That's the only thing I have come up with so far.
But you know what's so funny? I'm sorry. Can I say something, please?
Of course.
So the same people who feel like the both should be together, because of the one argument is because he should for that, right? Spencer was interested in Layla. People tore
And
down
technically they were
that
friends
shit
first.
to the max. It's the same
He was
thing.
stopping his tracks. He was stopping his tracks for the girl, but she never was a real thing. He never cared.
He
They gave us
ignoring
all
Olivia
a
for it too.
15-second montage of this.
And so how does it work?
And guess who was sitting next to him?
Not the other. When one is literally the blueprint for the other one. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Melissa laid it down so well. Like I just had to seize the opportunity because this is the foolishness that goes around, and it's the type of stuff that none of us like to subject ourselves to, because it's false narratives, false comparisons. But then when you really break down the comparisons,
because if you break it down, like the way Spencer looked at Layla, the moment he had with Layla is the same as like Damon when Simone was dancing. It was the same. He was starstruck. He was stuck on stupid watching her dance.
Antonio, you want to add anything? Because I have some thoughts.
No, go ahead.
Okay, so we're going to talk about Simone. I feel like with every single episode that we are getting reconfirmation about how great Damon and Thea are for each other, we're getting confirmation that Simone and Damon will not work. They just won't. Damon is an elite athlete with an elite work ethic. Thea is an elite athlete with an elite work ethic. Simone is a Beverly Hills, not going to call it a B word, who decided that this is how she's going to grab a little bit of acclaim and fame and provide the results that she seeks. So, I'm just going to say the girls, Antonio, but you fit, right? This is why we're different than y'all, because our love looks like telling the person that we love the truth. Our love looks like calling the thing a thing. Our love looks like, hey, friend, calm down. Calm it down. That's what it looks like. And Simone, I don't know what Damon would do with her aside from look at her. Yes, she's cute. Yes, he's cute. But is he going to have to drag her to the tennis court? Is he going to have to, like, the way that he reaffirms Thea, it's behind her ridiculous work ethic and drive to push herself entirely too far. When he would have to validate and jump in the bag of like supporting Simone or like speaking life over Simone, it's going to be behind a whole bunch of, so so-and-so didn't believe in me and they didn't try. Well, girl, did you make them believe? Are you so good that they can't deny you? And to me, Damon is good friends, but even Simone deciding that she wants to enter her villain era is starting to now move away. Damon would have to do, I think, a lot more work, way more work than what he has to do with Thea and like navigating her naivete and her lack of experience, because what she lacks in experience, she makes in, well, what she lacks in romantic experience, she makes up for in life experience. And Simone is a little bit deficient in the both.
That sounds like
if
another.
you ask me.
I know. I'm sorry. There's too many.
Or at least Simone that she's deciding to be now. The Simone post-Jordan Baker era is completely different, just like the Jordan post-Simone era is very different.
When it comes to tennis, they've been having the very same conversation since the backdoor pilot. Remember on the couch when she was talking about I forgot what it was that she said, And he
At
was like, why don't you
KEK.
use it? Yeah, she's like, use that for motivation. Who cares, like, that what people are, I forgot what he said. Like, who cares that people are hating? Use that as your motivation. Like, he's literally said that to her since they met, and she's still on the same wavelength. Like, it's still, the tape is still playing the same song over and over and over again. And it's like, no, Damon ain't got time for that. She's going to drag him down and drag his, like, his athlete potential down, because she can't. How does she?
You think
How would
she
she
likes?
feed into his?
People is giving. It's giving your fave on AA that really, in all honesty, they never needed to be together.
Mm-hmm. For what they gave, they could have kept it.
And honestly, just going back to the beginning, they didn't need to be together.
They didn't.
They were better off as friends.
They were always better off as friends, and they should have stayed that way. And the girl who was actually on his level, y'all didn't want that for him.
That's so true. Oh my God.
So y'all are not about to take that away from me. So I don't want to hear it. Y'all are not going to debate me down in the comments about Simone being better than Dhea. It's not ever happening. Because what can Simone offer Damon? Nothing. They have the same.
You're doing enough, because Damon needs exactly what Thea has been providing when he needs to get off and stop resting on his laurels, because he's built different. You get past that. Like, they really need to just be rooting for you, because you're like literally God's gift. And I had to hop in my Beverly bag, because she just keeps every single week reminding us that she do not come from South Crenshaw, and I really wish that she would.
And for me, the main moment, and there have been many moments with Dhea, like, I've been on the ship since one, but the moment that really should have opened people's eyes at these two, we understood why. We understood why, but you still made the choice. And Thea got his ass together and was like, listen, it really don't matter about anything that you're talking about and crying about. And if you want somebody to come and do what you do best, and that is be the best, and that is only something that another person on his level could tell him. And I don't care what y'all want to say, Simone is not on his level in that way to be able to gather him, which is why every conversation that they have is about
His level as a friend.
No, not this version of
Cause
friend.
that last conversation showed me that. I was like, oh, that's what we doing.
Right.
Oh, so none of our conversations about me and Thea before we even got together and after, none of that meant, okay, all right, you want to hear what I have to say?
But be clear, they have set the foundation for Simone to not be this girl. They have decided to take her down a completely different route.
Mm-hmm.
The way that she plays victim and cries victim about woe is me so much, meanwhile she has had to make one of the most
having this be killing me.
Antonio.
King.
Y'all are really getting to see what the damn group chat sound is like, okay?
Sorry.
The way it's good.
I keep forgetting.
The way that the foundation has been laid for Simone to really lean into all of the character development that came from the hard decisions that she has had to make very young in life, and meanwhile she is still around in this place about woe is me. You would think that she could have been set up to be equally yoked and matched very well with Damon. Like, Damon is struggling in reference to his paternity, well, now knowing who his parents are, but like the trauma that comes from that, being isolated, like all of the things that we have seen him deal with while he has thrown a tantrum here or there, has made a decision irrationally or off of his emotions here or there, he always still rises to the occasion, and like it's not like basically, oh, woe is me. But for whatever reason, they have decided to put Simone in a place where every single time a simple inconvenience pops up for her, it's woe is me. And again, that is just not on a personal level equally yoked with somebody who believes that they can and they will, regardless of what's coming up against them. Simone right now wants too many handouts, and it might not be something that's like physical, like being handed to her, but her desperation for validation is not something that will work well in a partnership with a person like Damon, who knows who he is,
Mm-hmm.
knows what he brings to the table, which is why Thea also works very well, because she knows who she is and she knows what she brings to the table. And in addition, she knows what she's not. And she's also, while she's afraid to venture there, she's still going to do it anyway, because she's the type of that does things whether she's scared of it or not. And Simone is not.
It's like, even to like Melissa's point, like all of their conversations, especially regarding like sports, have been the same. It's the same, like, Simone, I don't know why this isn't working for me. It should be working for me. I mean, I love tennis. And then
have you recorded yourself playing? Have you watched any game tape? Well, no. I mean, I picked up the racket.
That's what it is. So it's like, I don't understand how, like, we're talking about equally yoked.
Yeah.
They're not. And that's one main reason. And also, I just don't, there's not enough evidence for me, like, even at the beginning, like, how they first met. Okay. He thought that she was cute. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't know. Like, I really don't.
It
really,
is not a foundation
This
make.
is crazy.
Basically, it is not a
I feel
foundation
like
make.
I feel like we're in like deja vu, because these are similar conversations we had about Olivia before her turn to the dark
You're
side.
not lying. You're not lying.
And just y'all pretending to be y'all imitating Simone. I was like, that's the old I didn't ask her to do that voice. Like,
I did.
it's the same voice.
It's the same. It really is. Spencer told me he loved me. I didn't tell him to do that.
I didn't tell him to say that.
I didn't tell him to say that.
I picked up
And
the
I'm like,
racket.
are we really on
I didn't share the scouting report, but they were mean to me.
Are we really on the ledge before she jumps off? Man, y'all sound like y'all think yes. Gee.
No, well, okay.
I didn't think about it, but now that you posed the question, Antonio.
I think
don't
so,
wanna
because
say
she's gonna
she's-
piss me off.
She's shimmying down that route.
That last
But
conversation with Damon really rubbed me the wrong.
Piss me off, right?
It really
and she's
did.
gonna
I was
continue
like-
to go down that road.
You
Let's talk
you
about
many
it,
a
'cause-
times, if you set the table for him to come with you to you with real problems, how you gonna get mad when he comes at you with a problem? Like, you you went to this man's house with his parents. Like, come on. All he asked you, he didn't say Lando trash. He didn't say you making trash decisions,
Or you shouldn't
slinging
be
things
sleeping with
every
him.
which way. All he said was, hey. All he said was, hey, I got this new information from Jerry. He told me this about this person, so you should watch out for this person. And then you was like, I don't want to hear anything you got to say. Get out my face, dumb nigga. And
And
What I want to add before you jump in, Naya, because I also rewatched this after I did my lot. Well, I did it today when I was on my way back from the gym. Not only did he record the practice with Hawkins that got leaked to
but he leaked it.
But Jeremy, whatever the hell his name is,
Jeremy.
said multiple practices. So that to me said that he was scamming for like their downfall as a team, not even specifically to Damon. And one thing is like grinding my motherfucking gears, going through the comment section of my live, and it's so many people that were just like, well, to be honest, Lando don't owe no loyalty to Damon. Who said he do? Like, y'all are literally making arguments or clapbacks to arguments that were never made. We're talking about him as a person and what he is capable of, what he is willing to do when he feels like his back is pushed against the wall, even when his back is not even against the wall.
And that's why you didn't jump on it the last live when you was like, y'all capping for Lando, and we don't even know nothing about him. Now look at you.
right.
But it just goes to show this fandom's problem with just like, people are willing to
Take what the
overlook
writers give them.
what the writers give them, and then also like big character flaws. Like, y'all are willing to overlook that for what, a pretty face?
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's really mind-blowing to me, because it's just like, you know, at some point, yes, these are fictitious characters, but, you know, they're influenced by real life in some aspects, so it just makes me think that in
Yeah.
real life, this is what y'all do.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know, like, you know.
And that's what makes me so frustrated. I was just telling my homegirl, because she was like, Erica, you just really get, like, a lot. And I'm just like, yeah, because I got to run into these
But
dummies at
everybody
Target.
does.
Like, y'all are out here really believing that this is how you need to be living in real life, and now I'm running into you at Walmart.
Like, no, ma'am.
The amount, and I ain't trying to disrespect y'all, but when it's given idiocy, it's given idiocy, okay? I gotta run into idiots in real life because y'all out here creating your own narratives, not being self-aware, barely journaling, need to find therapists, and also should probably just listen more and stop talking.
Right. But also the energy that he came to Damon with, right? Like, we're not only talking about this one instance, which is a big thing, because doing that is like definitely compromising a lot of things. So you were just thinking about yourself, but also like the energy he came to Damon with, like, you took my spot and blah 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 blah.
They ain't bothered me that much.
That bothered me only a little.
Like, sir, didn't nobody even know you existed?
Right, that part. Like, you acting like this man actively was like, let me take this spot from this man or whatever. And so she was keeping that same energy that Damon had towards him at first, and now because you're sleeping with him, you can't understand why Damon would bring this to you as his friend. He didn't say, I want you to stop sleeping with him. He didn't even bring up the fact that you're sleeping with him. He's just telling you that this man is shady. That's all he's telling you. And you had to bring it back to the Jordan and blah blah blah. Girl.
And then, low key, you only sleeping with him because you still developing feelings for Damon. So,
and
like,
I was just about to say that.
Part.
And that's really what it is. And I think you just basically blatantly said it in your most recent live, that's really all that was. All that hooting and hollering and all the dramatics and theatrics, that's really reading as, I'm feeling you. I'm starting to feel you, and you're no longer available. And you're also no longer meeting me with the energy that you were in the beginning. And so now that I'm starting to realize that I might actually feel you as more than a friend, you're no longer available. You don't really look at me like that anymore, because contrary to popular opinion, he don't. He's not checking for her. There was one moment, it was at the beginning when they had the conversation. Sorry, just quick pivot. When she walked away, could have been a great moment for him to like look back. None of that. He was like, oh, here's the meeting right there. Don't be late.
Kept going.
Not checking for her at all. So going back to this conversation, all they really needed to say for the writers, like for Simone, Damon, I'm feeling you, and you know, I'm trying to defend this man that I don't really know, that I was given smoke like 2 episodes ago, as a distraction. So that people...
And guess what? I'm not even done with it, because while I just had this little attitude for you, I'm coming with full smoke, because the next thing I'm going to say to you is what? Only you and Thea can be happy? The moment that she says that, I'm like, oh, okay, girl, it's a wrap. It's a wrap. It's clear what you're doing. It's clear what you're doing.
It's clear.
It's clear.
And then it's the whole, like, I'm sorry, but girl, it's the, you don't get to comment on my love life. Girl!
Since when? Since when? That would have been my response. Since when?
It was cool for you to roll up on me and try to check me that I need to get my girlfriends together over some beef that y'all have. It was cool for you to be like, you need to check your girlfriend. Okay, girl. So that's like, really? That was the energy Simone was getting from me. When I was watching this scene, I was like, girl, that's really, order.
That's the part.
I was like, okay, girl. All right.
That's the part that really didn't sit well with me.
Love you down. Love you down. But if Simone was my homegirl and she called me and like, yeah, girl, I told him. Like, you want me to be honest? That's what it's giving from me.
Yeah. That's the part. That quote right there when she was like, you don't have the right to talk about my love life. And I was like, first of all, it's a love life now. Second of all, I thought y'all was just having fun. It was a fling, but okay, anyway. third of all
Like,
the times that you done inserted yourself into my relationship with Thea, and now all of a sudden topics off limits.
That part. Oh, you asked. He didn't always ask. Boo.
yeah, that's what I was about to say
He
too.
did not always ask.
And she thought she ate. I'm telling you, she thought she ate that
She
monologue.
thought she ate. Give me that please.
Before she sashayed away with her pony, she was like, what did she say? She said, da-da-da-da-da, like, we're not going to do this. We need boundaries. And if you can't respect that, then we need some distance. I was like, oh.
Well, then bye.
Okay, Pootie.
I need Damon to have the energy for her
I
big
thought we had
let's
this.
do the dishes thing.
Yes.
But you keep coming back to me. I thought we had this.
It's giving jealous.
It's giving jealous. Like, that's all that read as. That's all it read as. And so when Erica said it, I was like, that's what it is. Because I understood that Simone, like, this is a lot of energy and heat and smoke for a man who literally just said, this right here, this piece of evidence that I just got confirms why I don't trust this man. Because never once was Damon like, oh, Lando, that's my, I can't say it, but that's my homie. Like, it was never that. We just, like, we weren't talking about it like anymore.
He let it rock.
But there was never a switch of like, we're all besties. So this wasn't out of left field to be like, yo, I'm having this conversation with you now. I don't trust him, especially like now that I know that y'all have some dealings. It's like, that's not the reason why I'm coming to you. But it's like, now that I do know that y'all are like, or whatever y'all got going on, I'm letting you know, like, because I also care about you. Like, I don't trust him. He's not trustworthy because of this. Your energy, her energy was a lot. So, like,
and as her breaks their best friend, he's 100% in his right to do so.
He is. And so that's why when Erica said on the live, basically that this is all because she's feeling Damon. She doesn't know what to do with herself.
And real quick, Antonio, before you don't lose your thought. And if I say that, then it's saying something, because I have been on the watch for when the tides was going to turn, and I don't believe that she has felt this way from the beginning. Mm-hmm. I do believe that she is watching certain things play out, and it's giving a little bit. Well, what about me? Why can't this be me? It should have been me. Mm-hmm. And while everybody's talking about, well, Damon looked back at her after the damn news, and there's always these little moments of like them looking at each other, I think that people are focusing on the wrong thing, because while Damon could be looking to check and make sure that he's okay, she's okay, he's also still handling his business over time when it comes to his actual girl. We actually paying attention to how Simone is looking at him. So I think that the writing has been on the wall in reference to them starting to drop seeds to get us to this point, and she's about to go OD in this regard. Mm-hmm.
And also, sorry, I just want to quickly put some in. If Dhea wasn't giving what y'all say that it's not giving, then Simone wouldn't be like that way. Mm-hmm. But okay.
That part.
If there was something left to be desired, if it wasn't anything to be desired, it wouldn't have been desired. But that's given that something there to be desired. So now I'm jealous.
And I think, Erica, like, I think you said this, it goes to show the writing choices, because they didn't have to throw that in there, like, specifically her saying, well, why, like, only you and Thea can be happy? Well, obviously she sees...
Well, she didn't say that yet.
She didn't say that?
She didn't say that yet. No, I think it's coming, though. I think it's coming.
Oh, I thought that sounded like something she said. I'm sorry, maybe I'm just combining, because that's what it felt like she was basically saying.
I think it's coming, because it's going to be the whole, oh, well, maybe we need some distance, we can't respect boundaries. It's going to be, now she's going to start to throw up boundaries everywhere. So it's also going to be like, girl, you also laid down a rigid ass map and you wasn't clear, and now I want to be a boundary at every single turn. And then it's going to be, well, you and Thea aren't the only people who can, I just know that's coming out the writer's room. I know it's coming.
Okay, well, I'll take it back. But even still, like, writing choices are very clear, and her hooting and hollering like that, the specific things that she was saying, like, things that he didn't even, like, I don't even feel like he even opened the door. Like, he literally was coming to her, like, as a friend, like, yo, this dude that I've always never, like, I always said he was never trustworthy. I was never rocking with him. He's not a good dude. Like, based off of this information that I got, he wasn't coming to her because her and Lando have dealings and he's feeling some type of way. So that's why he came to her. Yeah, that colored a little bit of it because obviously now he's also coming to her as a friend. Like, because you're dealing with him also, you need to know this. That's really what it was. Like, I think Melissa said it.
And we were actually considering, like, it's given, we would have brought him in and he would have been a part of our Brixton family. I'm glad I found this out now.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Because we were real mad at Nico for taking away our family dinners, and it's giving the same energy. It's the same thing. Like, Nico was being petty.
And then I was also the one that said, well, what the boy do? And I was trying to kick the Nico and I ain't even know. And now I'm getting...
That's exactly what I was going to say. It's definitely a parallel.
And, like, for some reason, like, I really want, like, Simone, because, you know, she gonna, like, you know, do her little woe is me dance, or not woe is me dance, but, like, share the little info with, you know, Keisha and Nate. And I really want Keisha to be like, well, girl, like, I mean...
Well, in the previews.
Like,
I don't want Keisha to do it. I don't want Keisha to do it.
She's not going to do it because...
I don't want Keisha to do it. I want Cam to do it.
You want Cam? Oh.
Hey,
I
can't stand
Cam or
up.
Nate
Let's
to do
go.
It. I feel like Cam or Nate would have to do it.
Okay.
I don't know. When you look at the previews, we already know she said something about it.
Yeah, but it was more like... It was more like...
Because she was like, Simone having boy trouble? That's... what did she say?
She said something
Simone
that I feel like
she's... That's just like an everyday occurrence or something like that, she said. Yeah, like story of her life or something like that.
Right. So it's kind of like not even in the way to like check Simone, even though I feel like, well, Keisha, you was giving Simone all the smoke like season 1, like about Damon, when it was no conversation really to be had because nothing really happened. Where's all
and
that
she was
energy?
projecting a lot. That's the only reason why I don't want Keisha to say something, because she projects. Even though she's in a good place right now, she projects easily.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But her and Cam are in a good place.
I feel like now might be the best time for her to do it. I feel like now might be the best time for her to do it because she was just proven right with the Nico situation. So she was like, hey,
she on a roll?
I was right about this.
That's true.
It's true. I need somebody other than Damon.
I just also feel like she would receive it different if it came from a Cam.
Oh, I know who it's gonna be. It's gonna be Layla.
Hell no. The fact
she's gonna be there.
At Brixton next week, and y'all have her missing video shoots that she paid money for, to go answer a text message from a little light-skinned lover from Beverly Hills with nothing else better to do and has been given everything his entire life. No.
Well, how do you figure
Layla cannot tell Simone a thing.
Like, how would that even come to play?
I don't know. I'm just throwing it out there. Maximum chaos.
Ariana, what are you doing? Like, what is happening? Why is she here?
I don't even know why she's there, So for her to be delivering any kind of message to Simone about a dude who's not good for her.
She's with a dude that's not good for her, so I don't understand.
That's the blind leading the blind.
If Layla's not saying thank you for all the work that you did on Jordan, it's been great, I don't want to hear it.
There's nothing to be said. You slept with this man already. The conversation, the moment to have the conversation passed.
Why is she there?
Like, I don't understand.
I really want to know.
Like, I don't want you to tell me after the fact. I want you to tell me when you were developing feelings for him. Goodbye.
Is she recruiting a singer? Is she recruiting a singer? Like, I don't understand.
That's what I'm back on. I'm back on Simone's side and riding for her being all types of the victim when it comes to this, because they did her wrong.
Dirty. And Layla being someone who was done dirty is really pissing me off with this whole situation.
They don't care about her. She ain't main character.
Jordan better have the best penis game in the world. I tell you that.
The way they write him, you would think he does. Can we talk
Yeah.
about those moments that people are so stuck on and why they don't mean what they think they mean, because they've been words, and I feel like
What,
actions.
from this season?
Yeah, from this season.
Well,
Like,
what
cause
moments?
Only one I can
the
think
one,
of is the text, but
the
Oh
text
I'm
my.
like, you
keeps
was about to
coming up.
die, fam.
The text keeps coming up, and then the looking at her when he was hugging Thea is another common one.
Mm-hmm.
When was
And what's
that?
the other one? The
But even
When JR turned on the news and he was on there front and center, and it like announced that he was like
it was
considering going to
two.
Hawkins.
It was two moments. It was
Ah,
that moment, and then there was another moment where he hugs Thea when he gets to stay. I think he hugs Thea, but he's looking at
Oh,
Simone.
okay, maybe it's
she was
because
just standing behind Thea. Come on, y'all
Thank
that's what
tripping.
you.
I'm saying. Like,
Thank
come
you.
on, like let's be fucking for real. Like, I'm sorry, but maybe I read those moments differently. Maybe you could say it's because I really just don't like. I do not want Damon to happen. It's not on my bingo card. I don't need to see it. I don't. I really don't. It doesn't keep me up at night. It doesn't. Maybe it's that. Like, I'm completely shut off to all of that. But I didn't interpret those moments like that. Like Antonio said, she was literally directly behind Thea, and he was looking at her like a head nod, like it
We
wasn't
good. I'm
romantic
glad.
to
I'm
me.
glad we gonna be here.
Right? Like, we here. I see you, but this isn't our moment right now. As a friend, like, that's what I interpreted that as. So that to me is like, I guess, if people want to dissect it, but I don't see it. That's not a real moment to me. And then even the text, like, I don't know. I think it's open to interpretation, but for me, like, honestly, at first I was like, okay, like, I was mad at the writers. So I was like, why are we putting this in there? I don't feel like it was unnecessary. But when you really start to like think about it, I think Erica brought it up in that live, like, it is really interesting just to see how Damon moves. It's very interesting, like, just not in a bad way, but like just the way, the choices that he continues to make is just really like, like really thought-provoking. Like, you really have to sit there and be like, so that's one. And then two, I feel like, to me it read as our, like, exactly how he texted it. Like, I'm sorry, like, our stories are far from over as friends. I don't know, as friends and individually.
Honestly, I with this question, like in this moment, I'm just like, I want to see the rest of his phone. I want to see how he texts everybody before I can actually say something. Because it's also not given that it's something specific to Simone.
No, there was
She
nothing
He could
about
have
it.
said that to JR too.
She definitely took it that way with that reaction she had.
He
with
just
that.
meant we ain't gonna die today.
Right.
Right.
That's what I took it as.
That, and then also, our stories are not over here at Brixton or in life.
That part too.
There was nothing, like you said, Erica, that was specifically tailored to Simone that you could be like, oh.
He didn't put a heart emoji. He didn't put no, like, nothing that would make it seem like anything
I feel like people automatically assumed of like him sending that message said him saying, we gonna get our chance after all.
That's exactly
that's how they
read
want
it.
to interpret it. That is.
But I feel like, even like people were saying, oh, like he kind of hesitated before he sent it. I feel like in my mind, he was doing that maybe out of hesitation of how it could come off. And then also, I feel like it was more leaning, like they put it in there. I feel like it's more leaning to Simone's state of mind. Like, I think it's because she is starting to have feelings for him. I think that was a device for Simone, not for Damon. Because the way that she, like, if that makes sense,
Valid.
like, if I worded that right. Because I feel like it was significant because of how she looked back. She looked back. He didn't. So I feel like it was a device, that text message, and how people interpreted it, or how it could be interpreted it, and how Simone, I think, interpreted it. That was a device for Simone because she is the one who's starting to have feelings for him, and the tables have turned.
Right. And if he had
and I feel like
the turns have table. Sorry.
Exactly.
I feel like if he had meant it in a way that he shouldn't have meant it, he would have tried to explain it away to her when he brought it up to her, instead of just being
Right.
like, did you get my text? Like, he would have been like, oh, like, I was just in the moment thinking, like, da-da-da-da-da. Like, he would have tried to explain it away because he would have felt like he was wrong for doing that. Like, everything about the way
Yep.
Damon has moved so far shows you that he's a stand-up guy, right? Like, he's going to stand in his truth. He's going to say what he feels. He's going to mean it. And if he's wrong, he's going to say he's wrong, right? So, like, I just feel like people are completely disregarding the character of Damon to write this narrative of wanting him to secretly be longing for Simone, because that's how we felt like Spencer and Olivia were. Like, Spencer was secretly longing for Olivia. He just didn't know all this time.
But even that was not happening
Right.
until that goofy ass summer that we never got to see. Because I still stand 10 toes down on when he dropped that damn lemonade. It wasn't even there then, like people wanted it to be. But okay,
Stand by that.
I know y'all do, and that's fine. You see that?
There's a
We
caveat
disagree
there.
as friends.
There's
Right.
We disagree, but we still respect each other's opinions.
Right.
And they stand on the fact that when he dropped that goofy ass lemonade, he was head over heels
What
in
are you
love with
talking about?
Olivia at that time.
No,
And
not
I'm
even
like,
that,
yeah.
no. I don't even think we
not
argued
over
that.
here.
Sorry.
What are we
wasn't
talking
it,
about?
though. Remember that small moment they had when she came back from, when he came back from the thing to the house when she took the drink, remember? And like,
Yeah. Before
that we were
summer.
talking about.
Before summer.
Yeah,
Yes.
that we were talking about, that felt like a moment where like he would have
Oh yeah, it was
like,
definitely
wait,
a
what's
moment.
happening? Yeah. So
But I like, even then, like, I think we were saying it was more subconscious, and also I
Yes.
think we can agree that I don't think anything really became of it until the summertime, and we didn't get to see that shit.
Yeah.
So
Fact.
we can't even.
Oh, okay,
attest
then
to
we
Right.
can
that.
agree. I
Yeah,
feel like
so
the
we
number
agree.
one
Right.
thing at that moment when he dropped that drink was his arm. And maybe he had
Right.
a thought because of the look, but then immediately he couldn't even have time for it because his arm went numb and he dropped this thing.
I would
Right.
agree.
But I felt like what y'all were saying was he dropped the thing because he realized he had feelings for her.
No.
Oh, no.
We weren't
No.
saying that.
The
We
moment
were
we're talking
saying
about
the
is
moment
the-
before. This is
before
before he
that.
went to the fridge,
To get-
When
because
he came
there
back.
was a moment
When he
where
first
he
came
Oh
back.
yeah, because he does this whole little like,
Yes, when
yeah.
he
I always
says,
come back for you.
Yeah.
but I
Yes.
still don't feel like that was like, oh wait a minute, are my feelings back after Jordan ruined it for us?
Well, no, but not
but
even.
not like
I don't.
that.
It wasn't as, we weren't saying it was
It
as
was deep.
deliberate as that. We were just saying it was a sort of a, like, he didn't even really understand what it was. Like, it was like a, he
Okay, I
said
didn't
it
know that.
right.
That it
So
was like
I
an
think that's
awkward
what we were
moment
saying.
between them where it was like, wait, what's happening
Yeah.
right now?
I
And
feel
so
like
he
it
had to,
happened,
pull back.
and then he realized it at wedding, at the non-wedding or wedding. I can't remember what it was. Vegas,
he
whatever
realized
it
it
was.
then, because like I think well, like the whole I don't think it really even developed into, like, I think I said, anything until the summertime when they spent all this time together and we didn't see it. So
Okay, so question. I think this is something I should have asked in that Zoom, but I didn't, and I never thought to ask it. Do you think if they hadn't spent time together after that summer, and the last thing that they had before we got back into season 4 was the look, you will never be alone, I always got your back, or whatever he said, and then the drop of the glass or the water jug, whatever, do you think that he would have developed the feelings in a way that he did?
Nope.
Just from that
No,
one
because
moment?
Layla would have been
not
ready
even-
by then.
not
Not at
then.
all.
Okay. All right, then we on the
It
same
would've
report,
taken-
actually.
It would have taken some more time. I think that's really how it should have went, because that meant that they would have had more time in the oven to bake before they came out. Like, they could have pushed it further if they did it like that.
Yeah.
So
Because
4.
clearly,
Okay,
Olivia
so-
only likes the thought of him. She didn't actually want him.
But y'all don't hear her, though.
And she could have marinated on that a little bit more to really fully flesh out if you really want to be with this boy, if you ever really had deep feelings for him like that, or if it was just the thought of him and what he was giving, because nobody else was giving you that before, including
Exactly.
your family.
There's also something to be said of people who really enjoy the chase.
That too.
Antonio.
I feel like
Yeah.
he's shaking the bag like this.
Oh no, that was me scratching my face.
But before, like, going back to Dhea, for every one of these little, now you're dropping off, child. For every one
Dang, my
of
bad.
these,
I didn't know I was doing that much.
oh, you good. For every one of these ambiguous moments that Dhea had, or that Damon has, that people so-called believe is like him actually pining for Simone secretly. There are 5 other moments that he showed that he don't play about Thea.
Thank you. That's what I was gonna say, because I wanted to say that, like, the word, like, they're hanging on to some like small words, but actions to me always have spoken louder than words. Like, you can say all the pretty things to me, but if your actions don't back it up, I don't believe you, and you can keep it pushing. So, like, I think that that's where people are getting it twisted, because he is actively pursuing Thea and actively engaged in his relationship with Thea and growing this relationship with Thea
and committed to it.
And his words that he speaks to Thea, his actions back them up. Like,
where did he go after because I think all he asked Simone was, did you check your phone? And then she said no, da da da. He was like, okay, well, I gotta go. And then right after and then that was the
okay, I gotta go check on Thea.
Right.
I told you he went to class.
Right after that, he goes to tell Thea that he loves her. So I'm sorry, but when we're going off of what we see, that's what we're seeing. So I don't know what to tell you. Like, I just feel like all of this stuff really, when it comes to I guess how they're building up the story, because I think you were saying this in your most recent live, Erica, like, it is really interesting how the writers have chose to set it up. Like, this is really what you should do if you want a story and a show to go on for a long time without writing yourselves into a corner, is you should create little trap doors where, ooh, I have this story, I could go this way, I could go this way, I could go that way. Like, you have all these different scenarios that you've created strategically because of how you've written in the past. So you don't write yourself into a corner, and you can explore if you choose one or the other, or you can have them all working at the same time. And I think that's what they have done when it comes to the whole heavy air quotes on Damon and with Dhea and all the 3 of them and how that works. I think it's really interesting to watch because it feels fresh. Like, and I really want them to keep it that way. I don't want them to do what we've already seen.
Mm-hmm.
I want them to stick with this because it actually is really interesting where you're like, you really are thinking about each one of these characters and how they're moving. And I really think that all these little things that people feel like confirm their theory about Damon from the beginning, I think all of these little moments are really playing to Simone's point of view and how I think we can agree that I think it is leaning towards she's starting to feel Damon, but it's not both at the same time. So that's really what I think. When I'm watching this stuff, it's like Simone is like starting to be like, oh shit. And like, well, Lando's here and we already bumped ugly, so I'm going to try to defend this when it's like, I don't even think Simone knows what she's doing in that sense when it comes to Lando.
That part. I just had a thought of like, I don't like this for her, but it happens with people. It happens in life. We fall into some flop errors where we want to be anybody but ourselves. And I do think that we're seeing the framework of Simone wanting to be Thea, but like on so many levels. And it's like, okay, girl, now it's getting a little too close to case or invasion of the body snatchers. Like, relax.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I get that, you know, Damon and Simone have a really good friendship, but for me, I can't even fully buy into the idea of her really starting to feel him like that, because part of it feels like it could be motivated just by, look at how good Thea makes this look too.
But also, I think it's you know, that feeling of when somebody likes you and like you might not like them like that, but you enjoy the attention and you enjoy the fact that that person is interested in you. I think it's that. I think it's missing that. Like, it's missing the because she knew he was into her, but like she wasn't into him. So I think it's also missing the fact that she's not like, he's not giving her that energy that she's that girl, right? Because that's how he treated her, was like, she's that girl.
And she had that bare minimum, right? Like in this
Right.
very new place amongst all these very new people, the bare minimum from the jump, she had this attention and adoration. So not only has that now shifted because his focus is elsewhere, but she's truly having to compete and struggling with that. She's not finding sisterhood because now all of a sudden she just gotta have sisterhood when you spent most of your high school career bumping uglies with random boys until you fell for Jordan Baker and you were perfectly fine with it just being you and him to the end. Like,
make it make sense.
Make it make sense, Simone. Make it make sense. Because it doesn't. I really feel what you're saying, Melissa, and like, girl, you just missed the attention of them.
Right.
Yeah, that's what it's really
since we've drawn parallels, not y'all's favorite couple finally getting to the couple stage and you realizing that you don't want to actually do the work of being in a relationship because you just kind of like the idea of the attention. Girl.
Go to hell expeditiously.
Go to hell. Because you could keep it. Like, you could keep that.
Yeah, I don't
This universe has already bamboozled us in a way that I just probably will never forgive it for. So you will never see me specifically within the All-American universe fall for ridiculous electric chemistry. My jaw dropped the moment I saw this person. I am always going to be looking for something else. I'm always going to be looking for something deeper because it has shown that if it's not built on anything steady and solid, it's going to crumble because even Spela, I feel like, was built for the most part on something steady and solid, except for the fact that they both were at very traumatic crossroads at the time that they decided to get together, which ultimately had them implode. Like, better has fallen for less. So I'm gonna ride for the rocks that we got. What you say, Antonio?
So abrupt. Like, I really, like, I feel like they went to the staff and was like, yo, we switching out this whole thing 180. Now, right? Like you never been to school. You don't know what you're doing.
I feel like I need to have a whole other conversation around what went wrong with All American, and then maybe we could talk about all of our different perspectives.
Because I have so many feelings on it, which is why that's.
It's like it went from Triple H NXT to like Vince McMahon, and I'm like, yo, what is this?
What is this? What are those?
And you know what's it's so bad now. Like for me, it's starting to become the point where I don't even remember a world where it was different. Like seasons 1 and 2 are becoming farther and farther and farther away from my consciousness. That is how bad it is now to me. Like, I'm not going to speak for everybody, but for me, All American is bad. I'm sorry.
You know when I really started to realize that, regardless of my conversations I have weekly with y'all, like clearly I'm still here, and part of me is like, well, girl, you still watching, so like there's something to it. When I really started to be like, oh, girl, you might want to give it up, is when I started to be embarrassed in public to bring up the show.
Oh no!
Like people, like in my acting class or like out and about, will bring up All American now as people are talking about various shows, and where I used to have just this visceral response of like, oh my god, it's amazing, Daniel Ezra, it's everything. Now I'm just like, I don't want nobody to know that I was like this.
How far we have fallen. Damn.
It's really, I don't even know. Like, and I don't know. Even my mom, who like, she watches with her boyfriend, and they're not invested. Like how like we have conversations, like we really dissect it. They've never been invested like that. They watch it, they understand what's going on, cool. But even now, like my mom was like, yeah, like it's just really jokey now. Like I can't take it seriously. So that's from someone who's not even an active watcher in that way to even see the nuances, but is still able to see like this is not giving. So I don't. I just.
Well, before we devolve into that, how much time do y'all see in Dea's future?
Like
I
season
see a
Y'all
wise?
while.
came up.
I see a while. I think the cortisone thing is not going to be a make it or break it for them. I think it's just going to be their biggest hurdle, like their biggest bump in the road.
I'm sorry, I don't know why I just gave that.
Antonio is hilarious. You're such a guy, even though you're just so in tune and just so tolerable and amazing. But there are certain moments where you're still a guy.
He was like, what did he say? He said in the season.
No, I said that because I just looked like, oh, maybe he's scratching his head again. Because as soon as we started talking, it was scratch. I didn't even hear what he said. My bad. You still think they got a while? You think through the rest of the season?
I think so.
Okay.
I think so too, but I mean, like, it also doesn't have to be like however long All American Homecoming goes on. Like, we're talking about just in the season or just in the show?
Period. However long.
Okay. I definitely think they can go the distance, but it might not be like they're together the whole show.
Not me being back in Baltimore, child.
It could be. It could be.
Go ahead.
It could be on and off, or they're together the whole way, but there's still stuff that they go through. So I think they have the staying power, though. I think the whole cortisone thing, I just breathed a heavy sigh because I didn't want them to lean into that back for Thea, but I completely understand it. Once again, it is a character choice. I understand it based off of the character, why she would be going in that direction, but I just hate anytime it's like an athlete and like that conversation. I hate it because it's always just like, why? Like, just heal. But I think you said something, Erica, in your recent live that it will come down to, I want Damon to find out about Rome because I want him to be his ass. Just for me, so I can see it. Because I didn't like his energy in this episode. I didn't like how he rolled up on Thea. I was like, at first, why are you rolling up
why
on
do
her?
you care? If you just took 72 shots of cortisone to get your behind back on this on this court, and you probably ain't gonna win anyway, don't you got some other things to focus on? Why are we rolling up? Like, drug dealers don't chase down junkies.
Right.
But that was like the second conversation where it was confirmed, oh, this is the connection. Because when he first rolled up on her in the tennis courts, like, oh, you see, Simone got player of the week. Simone did this. Are you mad? Are you scared? I was like, what is this? Like, why are you rolling up on her like this? I didn't understand what was going on. And then the second conversation happened. I was like, oh, this is exactly why I didn't like you from New Year's. Stay away from Simone.
And everybody was like, oh, Erica, it's nothing wrong, but it's just a little harmless fun. This is why you watch who you put your lips on.
So I was like,
I didn't realize that was him.
I was just like, stay away from Simone and stay away from Thea.
No. And look at it. Be a junkie.
So I want him to find out, and I really, or overhear a conversation or something, and I want him to beat Rome's ass since he couldn't do it to Jordan. But I think it definitely will come down to an ultimatum, like you gonna have to stop this or not, and see what happens. Fuck around and find out. But I don't know if they're gonna break up because of that.
Now I know if you scratching your head, so now I can just visualize it because your camera ain't on. I'm like, oh, okay. It's like, well.
I don't know. Like, at first, I don't know. Because the way they've been writing Simone, I'm just like, it's building up to something. So I want to say they'll last to the end of the season, but I don't know. I hope they will. I hope they last forever, but
Not
I don't know.
forever.
Maybe
Yeah.
to the end of the season.
You think she's gonna make? You think they're writing Simone up to like make a move on Damon? Is that what you mean?
I don't know if she'll make a move. I do think she might express feelings
She better
at some
not.
point.
I have another question. Do you think in the like however long the show goes that they are going to explore Damon?
Yes,
Mm.
they got to split about one at least once.
I hope
That's
it's
what
to
I
talk
fear.
about why they were better off as friends.
Based on the pantheon of CW shows, they're gonna have to do it once. At least
Yeah.
once.
Yeah.
Well, I'm hoping that it's very short lived, and I hope that the way they realize that they are not actually great together is that they have horrible sexual chemistry, and it's the worst. Like, I'm hoping that it's given William and Joan.
I was thinking the
That's
same
not what I
thing.
thought you were gonna say. I thought you were gonna say, I hope they go on a horrible date and then they find out that it's not gonna work. But okay.
No, I want someone to be a ooch ouch girl. I want Damon to feel completely not fulfilled. I want like it to be like, why in the hell would we ever after? And I do feel like I do feel like a breakup is coming sooner rather than later, because I do think that Damon is an ultimatum kind of guy, and because he has, whether people feel like, oh, there's always a problem with Thea, she always got an attitude, he has won pretty much every fight that he has had with her, except for one when she had to check him. So they have a track record now of like, she disagrees, but ultimately comes to some understanding once he actually explains it. And the fact that she's not going to give this up, he's going to feel a way about. And I could see that making him feel like he needs to look at her different. I could see Damon's dialogue being, well, why can't you do this for me? And because she decides not to do it, now he feels like she's forcing his hand. Or at least that's what I can see the writers writing. And I hate that for them. But I do see them standing the test of time as well. Like, I see them being the ones who tried it. Circumstance, decisions, mistakes, mindset, pull them apart, and then they try to be friends, but they can't be friends, so then they get back together, and then maybe Thea leaves early to go pro, but like, I don't know, like, I see them doing a lot of on again, off again, because they're supposed to be together, and they're gonna have to figure it out.
Oh, I like that.
Which
I like
gives the Dwayne and Whitley blueprint.
And at some point through that, when they are off, if they want this Damon thing to happen and them to go ahead and say they did it, then they can bump uglies, and it can be the most trash bumping of uglies that either of them have ever had, and then they will, for once and for all, be done with it.
Great story, and I would be seated.
I would be
seated. That's how you that is how you create longevity. Like, let Dhea be on and off. Let them be, are they ever gonna figure it out? And then at the end they figure it out, and it's great. If that's how they choose to go. And then you can try Damon out for an episode, because that is as long as I can tolerate it for. I'm sorry. And that's pushing it. In between that. And then keep it moving. And y'all can't say that's y'all didn't see it.
Wow, Antonio.
Say what?
The feedback is getting louder. And not for nothing, even though I don't actually want this anymore, because I've gone ahead and processed and journaled and like done everything that I needed to do to release. At the series finales, I can see Simone and Jordan getting back together. So
I would like
there's
that,
also
but...
that.
No, I'm gonna get off that.
I would. They could keep that, honestly. I really don't. I don't want her with him.
I don't want her to, but I can see it happening.
Well, they better give me like a little snippet like they had somebody's wedding and I see them dancing to the
And
side.
I got
In
up on the pit with the writers because I'm like, y'all really trash my girl Layla like this. Like, y'all got JJ spitting dialogue from the Twitter street.
I gotta go back and rewatch it. He read them for film. Okay, wait. Before we go into this, have we said everything that we gotta say about Dhea? Because I'm gonna end this little YouTube live, but it'll still stay like we can still talk. Before we go into that, because I still have to go back and watch All American. I tuned JJ ass out. Apparently, he was reading people for film and has been out of control. Any last thoughts on Dhea? Right. Y'all can see them lasting the rest of the season. Y'all think that they are in game? I don't think they're trying to make more.
I really want them.
I want them
really...
to last at least to the end of the season, but I don't know if they will based off the writers.
I want them to. I think they will. I like the on and off again thing.
I do too. That's what I was gonna say. I really want them. If they're gonna do like that, then please lean into that for Dhea and let them come out on top. Because I'm sorry, but it's Dhea for me or nothing.
I have so many ideas if they're like for Damon and Dhea. Like for Dhea to be so new and like when they're off, she goes through a whole phase and like what Damon got to see that play out and they got to eat his ass up.
You would hate that.
And then he done taught her everything, injected into my veins.
A whole Dwayne Whitley scenario. I'm sorry, like she ends up like maybe like one of them ends up engaged to somebody else and just oh my god, I just I need it. Inject it into my bloodstream.
Please.
So yeah.
All right, y'all, we're about to keep this conversation going, but that is it. That is all for Dhea because y'all keep trying to play with them, and we just had to go ahead and clear the table real quick, reset the room. I mean, y'all still free to dislike and or keep your hater card active by hating on them. But we're going to go ahead and live in reality over here. Thank y'all for joining me for this conversation. I appreciate it. Y'all stay up with me on random hours of the night and do random things. Because I'm like, hey, can we talk about this? And they're like, yes, for sure. If you're catching this on a rewatch, go ahead and hit the like button, drop a comment on your thoughts. Also tag everybody in the comment section or in the description box down below so you can go ahead and follow these dope people right here. And we're going to see you on the next one. Oh, wait, it's going to be like a little delay.